guys, it's April. Today's lesson is about using sublimation with your design space and your machines. We use infusible ink. It is a form of sublimation, but you can also use your print and cut feature if you have a sublimation printer. Things like a Sawgrass SG500, that's a sublimation printer. You cannot take a regular printer and just put sublimation ink in it. It has to be one that will accept a conversion if you're not going to buy one that is made for it. Usually you have to flush all the inks out of a machine or either buy a brand new machine that doesn't have those inks in it, and you still, I think, have to flush them, things of that nature. And there are some Epsons that people convert over for a sublimation printer. There may be other brands, but I actually use a Sawgrass. So I just wanted to come in and show you how you could use other images in order to utilize your design space images for sublimation. And it's simply just like making stickers or anything else. You'll want to flatten them for print and cut. And it depends on what you're doing and how you want to do it. And let's say you were going to make a set of coasters. The Cricut ceramic coasters are a 3.6 inch, I believe. So a good image size, if you don't want to go edge to edge, if you have something round like this or semi-round, you'd want to go maybe about a 3.2 and you should be good. If you want edge to edge color, you're going to need to make it bigger than the 3.6. And that would be something that you were doing for like a solid color and maybe slicing something out of the center of it. But we're going to focus right now on some of these images. Now, this image is a print and cut, so you see that you cannot change the color of it. But there are lots of umbrella images in there that do have layers like this beach ball, where you can come in and you can totally change the colors of the image to match what you're doing. So, for instance, let's say that I wanted to use the beach ball, this beach scene, the chairs, and this Love You to the Beach and Back for a set of coasters. And I've just got some extras in here. I just pulled a bunch of images. So I just wanted to show you how you could go in and coordinate those. Let's say that the beach ball is the color scheme that we really wanted to use. And this just is a little bit darker in the teal. All you're going to have to do is come over to your color sync, and you can come in here and find that image, and here it is right here. Here is the teal background of that image, and then I need to find the beach ball image and where that is, and that is it right here. So you have the lighter color and then the darker color. Simply drag that down, and if you watch the screen when I drag this, you will see that that changes to coordinate with that color. And the same thing with the chairs. You would find your chair portion, which is right here, and bring that up if you wanted it in the lighter, and just bring that up in there. And the beach bag, this is the top of the beach bag. We could bring that up into the darker, which is going to be up here. Let's just bring that chair up to the darker, and we'll bring, let's see, the top of the bag up here to that darker one. I'm just going to drop it right there since I can't see it, and then grab it again and finish dragging it in. So now I've changed that, but now my bag is about the same color. So I want to make it the lighter. Let's go in and find that teal. There's one. Let's see. Oh, it's the same color as the chair. So let's change that inner part to the lighter color. So I can come in here and drag this down to that lighter, and you can see now I have the lighter color in there. And the chair is kind of peachy pink, and I had rather it be this red tone. So I'm going to do the same thing with that. And I'm going to find the chair image right here, and I'm just going to drag it up to that darker red tone. Maybe don't like that, I'll drag it down to the lighter red tone. And now maybe the handles of this bag, maybe you don't like that pinky color. You can come in here and maybe bring them into this tan color. And then the chair rails itself, I think I would rather them be a lighter or a sandy gray color. So super easy to do. You can change the color of the sand to match the sand over on this one just by simply dragging it. Now all three of these images are coordinating. I believe the trees, we could bring that down here and coordinate it with the same green of the beach ball. And let's see, the hat is going to be the same color as the sand on that. Now let's work on our beach. This is the beach word right here, and I'm going to leave it the color of the handles. I kind of like that. It looks like a sand color, but I don't like that mauve pink. I'm going to bring that up maybe to the darker red. Love you to the beach and back. And again, you can pick whatever colors you want, and let's go with the teal. Don't like that red on the beach, so let's go with maybe the orange. So you can go in and you can coordinate and make this anything you want. Now, when you have images like this, what you're going to do is you're just going to grab a circle, because our coasters are round. And remember, I said that they were a 3.6. So I'm just going to make this 3.6 inches. Oops, I didn't want to unlock it. Let's see. 3.6. You want it to be perfectly round. Let me lock that back. And then you're going to change this to white. White is the only color that doesn't print unless you have a sublimation printer that prints white ink. Those are very rare and very expensive, okay? So most people do not have those. So you're going to arrange and send that to the back once you have all of your images like you want. And I'm just going to pull these out of the way. I just brought in some ideas of things you could use, such as this one. If you see grid back there, that means this is going to cut out. We don't really want to cut that out, okay? So we're going to bring this circle in here, and again, you want to flatten everything to it so that you don't see the grid behind it. So I'm going to duplicate that about 4 times. I'm going to go back into my layers panel and duplicate, because I have 4 coasters. And I am actually going to do the flower image on mine, and I'm not going to go through the pressing process. This is more of a teaching lesson to show you how to make your design space images for print and cut, and then we're going to cover how to print your sublimation. So I want to make sure that this is about a 3.2 image on its largest point. So my width is the larger of the two, so I'm going to make that a 3.2, leaving the image locked, and bring it to the front. I'm going to select one circle and that image. We're going to align it and we're going to center it. And then you're going to flatten the two. So you can see all of these layers. I have 1, 2, 3, 4 layers in that layers panel. When I flatten that down, I should have one image. If I attach it, it's just going to cut everything out. And let me change the color of my canvas so you can see that, since we're putting that on white. Let's just make that gray. So now you can see that that image is ready to go. Just going to get rid of some of these. We don't need them. You're going to do the same thing with all of these. And see, you can see that gray grid behind them. We don't want all of that cutting out individually. We simply want our circle to cut only. Okay, and when it's flattened properly, you should not be able to see the gray grid behind anything. We're going to do the same thing here. I'm just going to arrange, send that to the back. And we're going to bring this one up and center it, just like we did the other. And we're going to align the top and center. And then we're going to go over, and you can watch all of these images and my circle, and we're going to flatten. And now we have all one layer right here, and that one is ready to go. And again, we're going to bring this one in. We're going to size that down to, at the widest point, 3.2. My beach ball was already sized down, so we didn't really have to size it. So that one's at a 3.2, and if you wanted to add some wording in here, you want to add your wording and curve it, do all of that before you flatten it and size it. So we've got those in here, and we're just going to align, and we're going to center that. And you can see that even though that is true center, that's really close to the edge. So when that happens, it's because the image is not exactly round. So we're just going to bump it up a little bit and maybe bump it over. I'm just using my arrow keys on my keyboard, and that looks a little bit better to me. So I'm going to select everything. Again, you can watch it all in the layers panel, and when we flatten, it is one single image. And then we're going to do the same thing on this one. And of course, on this one, you might want to contour out. Let's change the color of the umbrella. Why not? Let me show you that one. So I'm going to duplicate just that layer right here. And I'm going to come into this layer, and you can see that I've got my contour highlighted. And I'm going to take the umbrella out just by selecting those two pieces, and you can select them here as well. And now I have a white umbrella. I'm going to take this piece that I duplicated, and I'm going to contour out the sand and leave the umbrella. And now I want to change that to maybe, let's go with the orange. So let's come over to our color sync, and oops, my orange is not there. That is because you have flattened this. So let's come over to our layers panel and unflatten it. Okay, and now you can see that you have all your layers back. You can go into your color sync. Oops, should be there, but it isn't. Let me go in and change that orange layer to cut. So I want to go with the darker orange on this. So I'm going to change that back to a cut image. Basic. There we go. And now, is it in my color sync? There it is. So I can drag that umbrella piece down there. There we have it. Okay. Don't need that second one. Don't know why it's still there, but we're just going to get rid of it. Don't really need it. Then I'm just going to slide that piece up into place. I'm going to go back to my layers panel. I'm going to come back over here to this entire piece, and we're going to flatten. Even though I changed that one to cut, it's going to flatten out. If you see your cut line in there, then it means it's not in there properly, okay? And again, we're going to select all of this, and we're going to group it so that when we size it, it sizes all together. And now let's go in and make that widest point, which is the width, 3.2. And everything should size together because we grouped it. And then we can bring these together and align center. And this one may do like the other one and be too close to the edge. So we're going to, again, just bump that up. Oops, my beach ball right there. That was a beach ball. I should have left it the same color. But you understand how to change it just by using your contour. So let's use our arrow key and bump it up. Again, I'm not printing these. I'm actually going to do flowers for mine. And we're going to select the two and flatten, and now we have 4 pieces. And when we send those over to make it, it's going to bring them in. Now, our print and cut area is, let's see, that looks like they should fit. So we're going to try it. So to figure out our print and cut area, I'm just going to come in here and I'm going to get a square. Because if I want them to stay on the same page, I need to make them stay on the same page by attaching. But I need to make sure that they're going to fit within the guideline. So I'm just going to unlock my square, and I'm going to make it 6.75 and my height 9.25. That is the maximum print and cut area. I'm going to arrange and send that to the back. All the way to the back. There we go. And then I'm going to bring in my images, and you can see that they're not going to fit side by side. Maybe if we can bring them in just a little bit. Nope, not going to fit. So it's true in the sense that we can't get 4 in there, but we might be able to get 3 in there. So I'm just going to select everything. And I can get 3 in there. I don't know if I could actually squeeze that one in or not. We're going to try. Just going to squeeze it in there. Because the white edge really isn't going to matter on this. I think I may have gotten it. So let's select it all. No, I'm just a little bit off. So I'm just going to use my arrow key and bump that over. I can go all the way to the edge of this because that is my print and cut area. And now let's bump that over one using my keyboard. And now let's select all and see if it's in there. Still got to go over just a tiny bit. Gonna bump it one more time. And let's check select all. And I'm in there. So now I have everything in there. I'm going to select just the square you can see over here, and I'm going to delete it. And now I'm going to select all and attach. Now I've got my print and cut on one single page. And let me show you how that makes a difference. Instead of wasting 2 sheets of my sublimation paper, I am now on 1 sheet. Okay? Because I'm not going edge to edge color on this and I'm doing white, I can just let it cut the circle and then I can put it on to that coaster and work with it there. The white edge is not going to print, so it's okay. So now I'm going to go in, and the next thing you want to do if you're doing sublimation is you're going to mirror this, okay? Unless your printer mirrors. Now, I am going to be using my Sawgrass, so my Sawgrass is automatically going to mirror my images for me, so I do not need to mirror here. If you are using some other printer, you may need to mirror. So I'm just going to hit continue. And then we're going to send that to the printer. And I'm not actually going to print, guys. Well, I may go ahead and print this one. I need to print something anyway. It's very important that you use your system dialog box, okay? And print to the proper printer. Now, I have a Sawgrass SG50. If I print straight from here, it is not going to print properly, okay? Because I have a Sawgrass. If you have an Epson that you've converted, then yes, you can print from here and it's probably going to be okay. When I come over here and I select System Dialog, my System Dialog is going to pop up behind my window. So I'm just going to hit print and hopefully I can bring this over. I may have to pause and bring that print screen up for you guys. So let me pause real quick and come back. Okay, so now you can see my system dialog box. This is the box that pops up, but I still don't want to use that. I'm still going to be using my Sawgrass SG50. I don't need to do anything here. This is if I'm using my Epson. Right here where it says PDF. And remember to leave your bleed on. Bleed indicates cut lines, number 1. If you're printing on clear or you have white like I do, it's not really a big deal, but bleed is going to give you edge-to-edge color. Because I'm on white, printing on white paper, and I'm doing sublimation, it doesn't matter. But bleed, usually you're going to leave it on unless you're printing on something that is going to, like this, or something clear, like a sticker paper. Then you'll want to, then you can turn your bleed off. But right here where it says PDF, you're going to come in here, and I am going to send this over to my Sawgrass Print Manager. So that is the difference. If you're using your Epson that you've converted, you're just going to use the system dialog box up here, and you may have got a setting set up like I have my print and cut set up right here. You may have a setting set up for your sublimation printing, and that's the one that you're going to use. And you're going to do that in your printer software to set up what your defaults or your last used or whatever print settings. Because like if I want to use this as a sublimation, I can save this current print setting as a preset, and then it will pop up in here when I want to use it. Okay, so that is the way that you're going to do it with a regular, but if you're using a Sawgrass, you'll want to use that Sawgrass Print Manager from here, or your colors, or mine anyway. When I print from here, if I don't use a Sawgrass Print Manager, the color management is off and it doesn't work properly. So I go to my Sawgrass Print Manager and it will open that up, and I will pop that onto the screen. And there is where my Sawgrass Print Manager opens up, and you can see I have my Designspace images in there, and you can see that it automatically mirrored that for me. So I don't have to do the mirror in Designspace because the print manager mirrors that for me. And then I just pick my substrate, whether it's on this one I would probably do a ceramic tile because that's what it's basically a coaster. And then you're going to pick your papers, your print quality, how it's laid out. I just preserve it from the designer. Then it's going to show that job in there, and I can print it on my 8.5 by 11 paper. My colors are already set. They're to Vivid. That's automatically done for me. I don't know. I have never converted one, so I can't tell you how to set up all of those. There are programs out there that tell you how to convert the printers if you've got one that you're converting. So super easy and super simple, and I would simply print this. It's going to print that box. I'm then going to place it right on my mat, cut it in my Cricut, just like I would any other print and cut. Okay guys, so here we are. I have my Cricut Easy Press 3. I have my phone for my Cricut Heat app to make it easy. I have my Easy Press mat. I have my images that I cut, I sublimated. This is a Cricut Designspace image. And then I have my infusible ink coasters. So we're just going to open those up. Let's see if I can grab my scissors and cut that. Get that open. There we go. And it has some protective papers on it. So I'm just going to set these out for a second. Just handling them by the edges. Get rid of that protective paper. And we're going to take our lint roller. And let me peel mine off here for a clean sheet. You don't want to skip this step, guys. You want to make sure that you lint roll to make sure there's no debris whatsoever on the surfaces. Because if there's any dust, dirt, human hair, pet hair, anything on there, then it's not going to transfer ink wherever that is. And then when that piece of trash comes off of it, then there will be no ink there. So you want to start and you want to put your Cricut mat, you want your coasters, and you want your images. Now we are going to place our image on the top, and I am using my strong grip heat tape simply because my blue Cricut tape, I just haven't loaded it into this dispenser. And that's what I had on hand. You don't need strong grip, regular grip. And you can see where that's taped and how that's up in the air. That will not work. It needs to be completely flat to that surface. So make sure it's good and flat. There's no gaps when you tape your image down. Good and flat. And then you want it face down, okay, on the mat. So I'm just going to take the next one. And we're going to tape it on, just so it doesn't shift. Get it good and flat. Good flat image. No gaps. Place it face down. Same thing. Center that up. And I would say, actually, I said 3.6 on the circle. I would actually go to a 3.4 to keep that. It would be easier to keep it good and flat on your coaster if you get just a little bit smaller, but you can still do it at 3.6. It's not going to hurt anything. Just get that on there really good. Make sure it's good and flat. And you'll want to make sure that you use your Cricut heat resistant tape. Regular tapes will not work. Okay. And so now I've got all of those face down. I'm just going to put them face down. Now I want to put my butcher paper. And because I'm using sublimation paper instead of infusible ink, I did like a double layer, but that's okay. You really don't need to. You can do a single layer of butcher paper. Okay, so you want to make sure that you don't skip any of these steps. You want to make sure that everything is on there just like you need it to be, your sandwich there. And now we're going to go to the app. Let me just start over. We'll start here with this, and I have selected my infusible ink transfer sheet, and I have selected ceramic coaster, and it wants me to, you can look at the, it's going to recommend that you use an easy press mat with this. And if you don't have one, make sure you read that information. So you've got everything. I've got my easy press mat, and I'm going to hit next. And infusible ink and ceramic coaster, my Cricut pressing mat. And I am going to change my temp here to 400. Okay, and now it's flashing over here at 400, and it's going to press for 240 seconds. So I'm going to change my timer to 240. Oh, I'm hitting down. Let's go back up. 240 seconds. Love the Cricut Heat app. There we go. 240. So now that is set. And now it says it's at 400 degrees. And what you need, it tells you, you need your lint-free cloth, or I used a, you can use the lint-free cloth, but I used a lint roller instead. So that's totally up to you. And my Cricut pressing mat, my cardstock, or 4 layers of butcher paper if you don't have the cardstock. Then your coaster face down with your image on it, the butcher paper on top, and then our Easy Press 3. So I'm going to send those settings so that it sets everything over there. It's going to read that I did set it. You don't have to set it like I did. If you use the Cricut Heat app, you can send it right over, or you can do it manually. Totally up to you. And it's saying press for 240 seconds. So we are going to bring this over, and we are going to place it on top of those coasters and hit our go button, and then it's going to start counting down on the press. Now your press may be a second or two off from the Easy Press to your phone, and that's just transmission time, but it will count down properly on the press itself. So we're just going to press that. I am going to speed through this, and then we're going to let them cool, and I will reveal them to you. I'm not going to make you sit here and watch this press for the whole time and watch them cool, because they will have to cool before you can handle them, or you will burn yourself. So I will be back as soon as they're cool, and we will peel and reveal. Okay, so here we are. I forgot to start my camera. And we're just going to peel back our tapes. Look how beautiful these are. I had a little bit of a light edge there. I can live with it, so I'm just gonna pull these back. It happens when you're sublimating. Sometimes you have a little ghosted image or a little place where it didn't transfer. But how pretty are those? So you can use your sublimation, super easy, super simple, when you're doing using Designspace and Access images. You can change the colors and then flatten everything properly, and you have beautiful, beautiful work. I'll catch you on the next video. Happy crafting. I hope that you found this tutorial useful. Please leave your comments down below. Give a thumbs up, like, and please don't forget to share. I'll catch you guys on the next video. Have a great day.